Anthony Adebayo. We off the record.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo. And the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B. What am I cheering for? This is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo. All right. What am I cheering for? I was cheering that this thing actually worked.
Right.
That's something we're absolutely. So you know what? Because I'm not gonna get all super confident and everything like that. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let people come on here on Facebook, on YouTube, whoever. Just say hello. If you say hello, I'm gonna make sure it shows up on the screen. That's how I know it's working. So if you want your voice heard, or your words heard, or actually we should say seen,
Right.
you know, say hi. Just say hi. We don't care. But man, what's going on, man?
Nothing, man. It's been a good week, man. We just getting back from New Orleans. We was out there for the Ravens Saints game. Definitely the best football environment I've ever been in.
Yeah. That was fun, man. I definitely had fun in New Orleans. It wasn't necessarily about the game. I will say this. I saw a lot of people I knew from around this area, whether they were from Baltimore, they went to Virginia State with us. Ton of Virginia people. I never knew that many people from Virginia Ravens fans, but whatever. It is what it is, you know.
Baltimore was deep.
Baltimore was deep.
Baltimore was definitely. I mean, they were there. They were there just. Baltimore showed up, man. I think a lot of it had to just do with. I mean, New Orleans. It's just a good scene. I'd only been there one time before.
Mm-hmm.
But this time, I think I definitely have to go back and check that football team in the stadium.
Yeah, so I was impressed with that was my first time in New Orleans, and I was only there. We went there, got there Sunday, and we left Tuesday. So we had about 2 days to enjoy it. I think we did. I definitely go back to, because it has to be a little longer, because I feel like this is the one thing I'll say. I feel like I missed out on a bunch of food.
Yes, you did miss out on a bunch of food. I know. I was able to go by Mother's. I was able to go by Mother's. Really good soul food restaurant down there, but I didn't get a chance to see too much of it. It was a short trip.
Right.
When you have a short trip, you don't really necessarily get to do everything that you want to do. But let's go. This week in football, what do you think? It was a strange week a little bit, or what were your thoughts on this week?
Well, this week was weird because the Cowboys didn't play. Was that being a jerk? Probably. No. I think that I feel like there are games where I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. This week was weird. Don't repeat me. All right, so I feel like we had teams like the Texans, right, and that started the week off, and the Texans were competing. It wasn't like they were just saying we're gonna lay it down. We only won one game and it's defeated. I mean, they went into the half, it was tied up. and the Eagles ended up winning. But I saw a lot of chinks in the armor, so to say, and so I felt like if it wasn't the Texans that would have beat them this year, if they would have played someone else, even the Browns, let's say the Browns, if they would have played the Browns or the Colts or the Jags or the Titans, because the Titans in Kansas City had a hell of a game as well. I feel like it would have been a little different, and I just see. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, they look good." I tend to say I see a lot of Philly. I think that's a little different than Brandon Cooks plays. Okay. So that started off with the weekend. And you had Washington having a shot to beat Minnesota. There were a lot of teams where you went into the weekend saying this team they're gonna get smoked, and it ended up being really good games. So I think that it was one of those weekends where you say it's the NFL, man, and that I know some people don't like that cliche of any given Sunday. Any given Sunday, and you look crazy.
So let's go back to a couple of points that you made, right? The first point you talked about was it's been a big hype train with Jalen Hurts. I know you had mentioned earlier this morning that Bart Scott had mentioned that he felt like Dak Prescott is not as good as Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts was the best quarterback in that division. Now, thoughts on that?
You trying to get me started?
Oh yeah.
You trying? Let me get this because I think I. So here's the thing. You do this when you're not on when you want. Anyway.
Look like an Incredible Hulk.
No, it's not incredible. So I feel like there are people that's on TV that say things just to say them. I don't like. Sometimes I don't even think. Yeah, I don't think he believes. Like he'd be a damn fool to think that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott, right? Jalen Hurts has not even accomplished anything that Dak has accomplished. Dak has only lost 2 division games. A matter of fact, Dak beat Jalen Hurts the 2 times they faced each other last year, and neither one of those games were close. Dak's led the league in scoring, led an offense that led the league in scoring. He's thrown for almost 5,000 yards before. And I heard something that Bart Scott said earlier. What has that gotten? And so, Dak has a 1-3 playoff record. I mean, he's in his 6th year. He missed a whole year, right, because he got hurt. Jalen Hurts, people still have questions on if he could throw the damn ball. Right, we see he could throw off of RPO, but when defense gets a little tighter and now there's more film, what do you do then? Because we don't know. We don't know in regards to Jalen Hurts. Yes, they got Anthony Brown. I think he's AJ Brown. I think that he's a damn good receiver.
This was outstanding.
Absolutely. But to say that because they're undefeated, that Jalen Hurts is better than Dak, and that's your reasoning because they're undefeated right now, is foolish because they beat Dak. I mean, they beat the Cowboys without Dak. They beat Washington, but didn't score in any quarter but the second. Now, week 1, I think they went to the Lions, right? And that was a shootout. But week 1, I always throw week 1 out the window because things happen. But you look at it, nothing on their resume says best team in the NFL. Their defense doesn't say best defense in the league, right? Their offense doesn't say best offense in the league, because I just see a lot of holes where if you say gets back from behind, I don't see that.
Okay.
right?
And I think that that's a fair assessment. Okay, so you're talking about the NFC, right? So the NFC, in my opinion, is like you got the Eagles, you got the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of teams are not talking a lot about them, but they're right there. You got the Cowboys, you got Tampa Bay, so we'll get to Tampa Bay. You got the 49ers and there's one more team.
What in the NFC? Minnesota.
Minnesota, you got the Eagles, you got the Vikings, 49ers.
And stop playing with me, yo. Hey, yo, stop.
Cowboys.
Yes, yo.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, stop playing with me, yo.
Hey,
Yo.
but it should be 7 teams. I'm leaving one off.
For what? As far as what?
You're making the playoffs.
So that right now, it would be the Giants.
That's what I was doing. It's the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
It is the Giants. So okay, so you look at those teams. I know a lot of people they are thinking about it. The Atlanta Falcons didn't make it. Some people are talking about, and we'll see the outcome tonight, that they possibly go overtake the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The way the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are playing, that's not outside of the realm. Arizona Cardinals haven't been playing good. I got Seattle. Seattle is first in that division, and it's going to be like winning that division. We'll see what the next couple of weeks play out, or how they play out. The Rams look abysmal. They don't look good. The Packers don't look good. The Bears are surging, but it's a little bit too late. So we look at it, right? Out of those teams, you got Dallas has got the quarterback. You got Eagles that are undefeated. Giants had a tough loss on bye last week. We'll see what they do this week. 49ers, they've got their pieces together. We'll see what they. It's really no argument for why the Eagles can't be the winner of the NFC. I mean, that's the argument. Is you look at all the teams, and I'll say it as a 49er fan. I'm looking at it as a Dallas fan. Well, I'm not a Dallas fan, but you are. I mean, all those teams seem to have chinks in their armor too. I mean, Eagles have chinks in their armor, but right now they've got an 8-0 record. Now, you did make the argument, and I agree with this. We do have to see more out of Jalen Hurts, and we have to see that team face adversity. You look at the NFC, I think there's a dominant team in the NFC.
A dominant team in the NFC.
No,
it's up for grabs.
Yeah,
it's up for grabs. I got something else that I want to tell you. And this may be a hot take. I mean, you call me a homer. I'd say that the Eagles are going to lose the NFC East.
So right now, we're 2 games ahead of the Cowboys and 2 games ahead of the Giants, right?
They're 3 games ahead, or 2.5, or something like that. Because the Giants are what?
Okay, 5.
Or
I thought they were 6-2.
They might be 6-2.
Yeah, I thought they might be 6-2.
Yeah, so, I think they something like that. Well, they lost an extra game, but nonetheless, the Eagles got a 2-game lead in the division right now.
They got to play the Cowboys again. They got to play
twice.
Yeah, Giants twice. It's very possible that they won't win the NFC East. We may get 3 playoff teams out of the NFC East. You'll have one in the South. You'll have the Minnesota Vikings. I don't believe the Packers will be there. I don't believe the Bears will be there. You know, the Lions aren't going to be there. And the 49ers and the Seahawks.
So here's the thing: Do you think the Seahawks sustain this?
I feel the same way that you feel about the Eagles. I haven't seen enough, but statistically, they're doing what they need to do. I didn't think that the Seattle Seahawks. I honestly, if the season my prediction, the Seahawks would be the last thing
think it all. I think that was everybody's prediction.
Right, the emergence of Kenneth Walker, Geno Smith is playing pretty good. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are playing good. Defense seems to be pretty stout. They have everything that they need to hang on to that division.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
This may be crazy. Do you think it is possible that the NFC East can get all 4 teams in the playoffs? Why?
Where is Washington?
4 and 5.
I don't believe the rest of the teams, and I mean it's ugly, right?
You want me to read this stuff off?
So look, you do have a point, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the 49ers happen to lose to the Chargers, that brings the 4 and
5. Mm-hmm.
If they start losing, then you start getting into, well, the rest of each division, because the Cardinals aren't really there, right?
They're 3 and 6.
Yeah, they're 3 and 6, and then you look at the Rams, which I mean
they're 3 and 5. They look terrible.
And Matt Stafford's not even playing.
Yep, that is true.
So
that is true.
Yeah, so if the 49ers don't take care of business, that takes them out there.
Mm-hmm.
You go to the NFC North, all those teams are coming.
Except for Minnesota.
We got Minnesota.
Washington got a better record than everybody but Minnesota in that division.
It's possible. Right now, what's going to determine if it can make the playoffs, it's going to be Atlanta, that's going to be the 49ers. If Atlanta somehow, some way can become more competitive, even though they're still hanging in there and they're a possible playoff team, and Tampa turns it around, that it gets a little muddy for the 49ers. And the same with the 49ers, too. They've got to take care of business. But when you initially brought up that question, I said, no way possible.
You wanted to say hell no. I know.
Yeah, I wanted to say hell no, but if you think about it, I mean, it can be done. I mean, it can really be done. That's how bad the NFC is right now.
Or maybe that's how good the NFC East is. Wow. Here's the thing. The NFC East are 2 best division football right now. And it's not even close. Not even close.
I'm not sold on the NFC East. Yeah.
What? First of all, the NFC East. Okay.
I just. So they probably one of the worst divisions for a while in football. Typically,
that's not true.
Typically, what happens in the NFC?
Not true.
Over the past, we'll give it 3 or 4 years. It's been one dominant team in that division, right?
No, it hasn't. That's false.
It's been.
The NFC East, first of all, is the most popular division. We'll leave it there. It's the most popular division with the most popular teams, and it gets scrutinized because those teams are so popular. Let's be for real. Last year, they had 2 teams in the playoffs. The year before that, would have had, but that got hurt, right? The year before that, they had 2 teams in the playoffs. So how in the world can we say that this is
the NFC West and NFC South has been 2 divisions in the NFC that have been more competitive.
I said in football. I ain't talking about in the conference. I'm talking about in football. The AFC South has constantly been a whole lot worse than the NFC East or the AFC East. Even with the Patriots, when the Patriots was going on that whole run, when it was the Patriots, because Buffalo wasn't that great, Jets weren't that great, and the Dolphins weren't that great, they were still better than the Jags and the Colts and the Titans and who's the other team I'm forgetting? Houston. At one point when they had Deshaun and Andrew Luck.
The Cowboys are 6-2, the Giants are 6-2.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what the rest of the season, how the rest of the season plays.
We're not talking about the rest of it. We're talking about right now.
Yeah,
we're talking about right now. I said right now, and because you're a biased West fan, you don't want to give the Eastern divisions the credit.
I gave them the credit.
You didn't. You said, "We'll see. You're gonna see. We're gonna see where the rest of the season." We talking about right now. We're talking now. So the NFC East and the AFC East could possibly. I think it'll be a little easier to get 4 teams in the NFC than in the AFC. I think the AFC is going to be it's an arms race.
So it's going to the AFC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kansas City there. You got Baltimore. You got Titans. Cincinnati. And then you got the Chargers.
Well, you got the Chargers, you got the Jets, and you got the Dolphins.
You got the Jets and Dolphins. So Cincinnati is on outside looking in, correct?
Well, they're 5-4. You know what? Let me look at the playoff picture if it started right now.
Yeah, I believe Cincinnati's on the outside looking in. I think we all have a lot of faith in Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
They whooped Carolina pretty bad this weekend, but can they beat the AFC? I mean, the Titans, if they get Ryan Tannehill, this looks terrible. He looks terrible.
He's still a rookie, man. I think got to ease up on the rookies.
Did you watch the guy's game?
I sure did. I watched it while I was in New Orleans. He looked bad, but every rookie ain't gonna look like. Give me a rookie that looked like they was the guy.
You know what? My issue with Willis is.
We got to give him. We got to cut him some slack. Here's why. It ain't like he went to Liberty. I'm not. Liberty, but he didn't play against that many NFL type of guys. They played Gene Tech, they played in the bowl game, but he didn't really play against a bunch of NFL guys. And as a rookie, things look bad. Look at Justin Fields last year. He was at the same thing. He didn't look like he could really throw the ball. I mean, even right now.
He didn't look like Justin Fields.
But Justin Fields didn't look good last year. He looked terrible.
He was horrible. I mean,
and that's fair, but that don't mean he won't be good.
Yeah.
He wasn't even supposed to play this year.
So you're right. It does demand a little bit of patience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can't necessarily give up on him, but he's still bad. And you're right. Maybe 3 years down the road, he's that guy. But it won't be weeks from now. And if it's depending on him to be their quarterback, they're not going far. You can put everybody in the box, and I don't think that man can complete a pass.
Yeah, no, I mean
at this point. Now maybe next year and you
let's not act like Tennessee got a litany of receivers that's just like, they don't have no receivers anyway. Look at the difference between Tannehill, and I know he's hurt, but look at the difference between him this year and last year when he had AJ Brown. He looked like a whole different quarterback. Look at Tua. Last year he was okay, but he ain't look how he looked now.
And that's a valid point. So okay, let's say this now.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the receivers. And he doesn't appear to be a good quarterback. Tennessee is in trouble. Yes, they have Derrick Henry, but
the ultimate equalizer.
Yeah, the ultimate equalizer. But at the end of the day, they don't have receivers. I mean, Robert Woods looked like he was out there running sprints.
Robert Woods is trash now.
I wouldn't say Robert What distraction? I mean, the quarterback can eat you ball. I mean, what he's doing.
Because you about to try to make me sound like I'm making an excuse for him. Because he looked bad, but he's still a rookie. He's still a rookie. That's not ready to play yet.
So let me ask you this: other than Nate Peterman,
he's still better. Absolutely, Nate Peterman. It was by far the worst quarterback in NFL history. He was absolutely the worst. He is the worst quarterback I have ever seen in my life on an NFL level. He sucked.
Okay, yeah, he's not as bad as Nate. I mean that's a bit of a stretch. But I will say this: Nate Peterman. That's a bit of overkill. But anyway, Tennessee is in trouble.
He's trying to get me started with bringing up Nate Peterman. Yeah, I ain't, man. I get triggered because of that. Because I feel like he screwed up, man. Because Buffalo a year could have advanced, and they instead of starting Tyrod Taylor, they start. Is that the same coach? I think it is. No, it is. It is. This is when he first got there.
So let me ask you this: Kansas City, Mahomes threw 69 passes.
Yeah.
The Chiefs do not appear interested in running back. Can they continue to play his running back to be successful?
Well, yeah, they got Patrick Mahomes. Absolutely, but I think they're gonna find a way to start running the ball. I don't know if Hilaire's hurt or what's going on with that situation, but they have to find a running game somehow, some way, because it ain't gonna last long, But I mean, them in Buffalo are not the AFC, and neither one of them can run the ball. And I think that's where the NFC is different, because you got some damn good pass rushers and pass defenses in the NFC with San Fran, Dallas, Philly, to name a few. Minnesota could get after the pass as well. So if they were to play in the Super Bowl, you're gonna have to score, but if you can't run the ball, you're gonna struggle. Philly, Dallas, San Francisco can run the ball. So you can slow the game down. And do what you got to do against those guys. The problem is, they kind of use the passing game as an extension of their running game.
No, I mean that makes sense. I think I don't want to talk about Buffalo just yet.
Well, we can get to the winner of the week.
Well, let's just talk about. Let's just get into it. We're gonna have to get.
No, first, no. We gonna have graphics and stuff.
But I'll let you.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
You really want?
I want you to.
Scott is trying to trigger me today. So, winner of the week this week, Indianapolis Colts. If you don't know, this week or it was this week after Indianapolis lost to who did they lose? They lost. I know they only scored 3 points. Got their butts whooped, but they fired Frank Reich. A day later, they hired a new coach. It is what it is. You hire who you want to hire, but you're gonna have to deal with what people think. So they hire Jeff Saturday, who, like you and I, probably not necessarily you and I, because I was but who was working at ESPN. He was just an analyst. Of course, he has a relationship with the organization because he is, he's a Super Bowl champion with the. He played there, I believe, 12 years. Made the playoffs 10 times, and they hired him as their head coach. Now, the reason why I'm giving the Colts winner of the week and not Jeff Saturday, because if I was Jeff Saturday, I'd take that job too if I was interested. And it's not like he's on ESPN every single week, so I get it. But the Colts hired someone off the street, whether he was part of the organization or not, doesn't matter. He was organization currently. So he doesn't really have a feel of the roster like someone who is already a coach on that staff, say like a former teammate of his, Reggie Wayne, who's already a coach on the staff, and among other coaches that they have who have head coaching experience. And to hire Jeff Saturday and Jim Irsay's reasoning is he doesn't have any head coaching experience, and he may just kill it because he doesn't have any experience. He don't have any of the outside worries that most coaches will have. And I said, wow, that's the craziest thing I've heard in my life. So I feel like he's hired on an interim basis, right? But we already have that problem of lack of black coaches, lack of black head coaches. So if you give Reggie Wayne a interim, make him the interim head coach, see how he does. Look at what he did last year with the Raiders. Raiders were pretty much dead in the waters when Gruden got it. I mean, with all the distractions that they had, he was able to take them to the playoffs. Now did they hire him? No, which I think is, I mean, the Raiders only won 3 games. So, but it's not about the Raiders. The Colts is bringing someone in off the street who is a former player for that organization. But if you look at the coaches on that staff, and I'll pull it up in a minute after I get your while you're getting your thoughts. If you look at those coaches, they have a ton of minority coaches on that staff that clearly do the job or do a job for that team. They're already in place. They have a built-in relationship already. It's not this whole in the middle of the season trying to figure out who does what. He can say the right things like, I'm gonna, ultimately going to be a figurehead, and everybody else because the guy that got calling the plays never called a play before in the NFL. So I mean, I guess this is an audition for him. But why couldn't one of those other coaches on the staff who has coaching experience, head coaching experience, get that audition for next season or beyond? And that's I feel it wrong. What's your thoughts?
So I have a lot of different thoughts, right? So after talking to you, you mentioned like, what, this is happening, right? So you bring in a coach that has no experience beyond high school in the middle of the season, as you spoke, has no relationship with players, has no relationship with the coaching staff. It sounds a bit like tape, right? That maybe the Indianapolis coach are trying to use the people on purpose. I mean, it sounds like a recipe to sabotage John.
But why would you want to do that?
I don't think they want to do it. I think that maybe we don't really know Jeff Saturday. Jeff Saturday must be the hell of an impressive guy to be able to talk his way in coaching an NFL team, never on the coaching staff, never coached a high school, and not having the relationship with any of those players outside, probably visiting the locker room. Maybe he gave a couple of motivational speeches. I mean, Jeff Saturday must be an incredible human being. I like Jeff Saturday. I didn't really necessarily mind the hire or think too much into it because it's not my football team. I think that you come from his perspective, just being that he's been a coach, is kind of putting in work with pushing players, scouting, and working your way up through the coaching ranks. So I think it's a lot. You have a lot more respect for what the staff is, and you kind of feel like, hey, it's levels to it, right? You just don't start off as the head coach. So I agree with your perspective, but I like Jeff Saturday, and I didn't find the hire that bad. I think that it's tweaking in the middle of the season, not going anywhere. Doubt that they win 2 more games. I'm pretty sure at this point they lose a couple more games and end up choking. It's compensated. I also feel like that the quarterback situation, and it's not Malik Willis bad, but it's not good. So they're going to end up letting the young guys play. They're going to give him an opportunity, and they're going to get it out.
I just, you got guys on here that has years of experience, and here's the thing. There are times when because a head coach is as good as his assistants, right? Because you could be a hell of a head coach, but if you don't have the assistant coaches to help you, it's just like a president. If you don't got a good cabinet, if you don't got a good vice president, if you don't got good people around you, your time is gonna stink, right? So, with that said, any of these guys, you got a John Fox he's close in the Super Bowl. Cato June, he was a high school head coach before, but he's coached on college. He's coached in the NFL for quite some time. Who else we here? You got a guy, Doug McKinney, who may not have wanted to be the head coach, but I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, then I mentioned Reggie Wayne. Is Reggie Wayne more popular than Jeff Saturday in Annapolis?
I was saying that they're probably about the same, but if you're Jim Irsay and actions speak louder than words, maybe he feels like the entire coaching staff is incompetent. Maybe he feels like that he knows for a fact that his guy is not on that level. And maybe he goes in a different direction. Maybe he's saying, you know what? I'm going to give you a shot Jeff Saturday. I've got a vision of what direction I want to go in. Maybe you can change my mind, but it won't be any of these guys. I mean, you look at John Fox, right? John Fox has been a very successful coach. He's been wildly successful. But you know what you're getting with John Fox. And that might not be the type of direction that Jim Irsay wants to go with. So I give it.
Sorry, the game is on. Sorry,
like Marshall.
Well, that's part of my parlay. The problem is you got to stop scoring. All right, but anyway, so I mean, if I'm interested to see how I'm interested to see how the coach, the players respond to this. So there was a question, and I think we could talk about this. That Phil brought up. Who is the biggest surprise / disappointment this year? Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady? That's easy for me.
Aaron Rodgers.
and it's not even close.
But at least Tom Brady showing some type of. He's hasn't been told himself, but there's been moments where when it comes down to it, he can go in a football game. Aaron Rodgers looks like he's just out there collecting check. So, good friend Phil asked that question. So, I've got a question for you. Did your perception of the Ravens change on Monday night? Are they a legitimate contender?
I feel like I'm getting called out right now. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I barely was. I was enjoying the atmosphere, man. I mean, in my perception, I think the Ravens are a good team. I mean, I was a little. So
I'm not gonna lie, I caught more out of the highlights when I went into my home. I'm not even know. I mean, I was there in person, in spirit,
in the physical form.
Yeah, but definitely.
So this is what I say. I wasn't, I did going back looking at it. Nothing wowed me between either team. I didn't say, oh, these guys they're gonna kill it. I think that the Ravens are still gonna be a good team. I think the Ravens can play with anybody. They should have beat the Bills, should have beat the Dolphins. And we already know that they can play with the Chiefs, right? Did they play the Chiefs this year? I don't think they played the Chiefs. So I mean, the Ravens can play with each and every team in this league. Lamar Jackson is a special quarterback. I still think that he is going to get the bag after this season is over. And folks better watch. I will say this. I don't think the people that people think are going to be in the AFC are going to be in the Super Bowl.
So let's go right there. You don't think the Bills?
Absolutely not.
Why don't you feel?
Well, they can't run the ball.
Okay.
And I know, it was a passing league. Whatever. If you can't ball,
That's it. Not in December.
Yeah. If you can't run the ball, you're gonna look crazy. I tell you who peace out for. Now Kansas City is Kansas City. They're gonna be the guy. But the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Ravens, Dolphins, and I hate to say it, I hate to say it, the Chargers. I have a feeling one of those three teams, if one of those three teams are going to be in the AFC Championship, or two of those two, or the Chargers. I think that if they start getting healthy, they are dangerous. They're right there. And
Mike Williams, you got him a couple of
yep, and Keenan Allen, he should be. And think about Eckler. He's going to ball, and then they got Palmer's been playing pretty good. Herbert, he had a couple hiccups, but he's having a good season too. So I think that
find out on Sunday night. They
absolutely.
play the 49ers.
And 49ers pass rush is like that. So
hopefully we come away with that victory. It's a must-win game for both teams. It's more of a must-win just because of how strong the AFC is.
Right.
The NFC, the 49ers get a little bit of leeway just because, outside of the Eagles, the Giants, and Dallas, everybody else is just really high.
Right.
They're just right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really taking anybody by six. But I really think from a mental standpoint, the 49ers have to go in this game.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people have been calling me out because me being a Niners fan. We have invested what we need to invest. We've got the arguably top 3 back in the NFL. We've got receivers. We've got the quarterback who's been there. We have a weak defense, despite whatever Kansas City was. When we had all those injuries, we're getting back all of our players. We're getting back 9 players. Last week, well, the week before last week, the first week that we didn't have 2 starters get hurt. Yeah, I mean, the pressure's on. I mean, we have everything. I'm making excuses. I'm sure the rest of the 49 nation is started making excuses. We got to put up a shutout. And now is the time.
It's gonna be a good game.
Yeah, it should be.
I got a sidebar. I know trades are coming for fantasy football. And I got something to say. If you're gonna play fantasy football and you're gonna be in a league where people are trading, you're trading in good faith, man. If you know what I mean, if you know they trading, you know, you can send a counter so you can let people know what you know. I think we have a master class on fantasy football. But here's the other thing. In my life, and we're not going to talk about the team. We'll wait till after the season. But in my life of playing fantasy football, I've never seen anyone have 5 first-round picks on one team. So if you have 5 first-round picks from that year's draft on your team, and I'm not talking about first round in the NFL draft, I'm talking about first round in your own fantasy draft. If you got 5 players and you don't win shit, that is by far the biggest disappointment in the history of fantasy football.
Absolutely.
And I mean, I know we talked about before, you know, we may have somebody not win a game in our league. He had to sweat bullets. We're not gonna name names because we want to get them on the show later.
But hear me out on this. I want to let you get back to your point. He plays Mark this week.
Ooh.
He's got higher projections. So I do believe this is the week that he comes away with a victory. I think so.
He was close last week.
He was close, and I want him to win one game.
And I think, and I'm not gonna name any name. I know you just named, but I'm not gonna name any names. That guy that you named, I hope they never win another fantasy game, you know, this year and maybe even next year. I don't like the way that man doing business, man. You know.
So I want to say he's got an extra sounder. He's got 2 extra force, and he's got I believe he got to pick up a 6. It's going to be tough for him to screw that up.
Well, we just talked about somebody having first rounders, and you had 5 first rounders on your team. You should be undefeated. You're the highest scoring team, but you know you're tied. You might lose this week, and you know because
So it's a lot of football out of 7. Trade deadline is November 19th. That's 9 days away. I do think if certain people lose this week,
it's turning sellers.
Maybe even myself included. I don't know. I don't know what the week will, how the week will go. So it's possible that somebody's fortune could change overnight.
That is true. That is true.
It's very, 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 very. Because I thought about it, I said, the playoffs, but that mean anything if you don't win. So, or I thought, is it time to pull the trigger and go all in.
After this week, we're gonna see.
After this week, I think most people will have a clear picture. If you don't pull the trigger at this week, or after this week, you get stuck with your team.
Well, we're gonna see, man. Let's talk some basketball. Irving. So, he apologized. I think he apologized like a day after we recorded last week or Friday. But Kyrie Irving apologized, and the Nets decided that wasn't enough. That they had 6 other things. Well, they had 5 other things, 6 things in total that they wanted him to do before, let him play. And I do want to get your take on that, because me personally, I think it's a bit much. I think it's a bit excessive. But what are your thoughts?
So I'm a big proponent of you can't make somebody do what they don't want. We see it in sensitivity training, sexual harassment training. You're speaking with a rabbi, going through that sort of training. If you don't want to change yourself, I don't see how the training is going to. I don't think that Kyrie's opinion on everything has changed. I think that he's just smart enough to realize that this is not a fight that he should fight. And if it's not going to change his thought process on it, I see it as a thing. So that's my question to the Nets. Like, what do you think that you're gaining from making him do this? I don't agree with this stance, but I do agree with the basketball stance that the punishment doesn't seem to be that reasonable. I mean, if you want to suspend them for the game, fine. Suspend them for the games. And if you want to seek an apology, fine. Seek an apology. But I think all people benefit with one heartfelt apology. And they would want, I guess, more actions than making somebody try to figure what they're going to do.
Right.
So let me ask you this, right? So Nike is basically about determining their agreement. And Phil Knight is done. How do you feel?
Well, that happened before. That happened before the season, and I think that I don't know. It's Phil Knight Jewish?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because again, you can have freedom of speech, but you better be prepared for what those what you call it, the bashments or whatever they got for you, because you can't tell Phil Knight that whatever. Nah. So I think that they were already planning. Well, they were already planning on cutting ties, but said that this was going to be the last shoe. But now they put the Kyrie 8s on hold, and I think they may be waiting for the Nets to see what the Nets do, because kind of see what they're saying. If you're not playing, I'm gonna put the shoe out. I do think that the Nets are going to reinstate him after the 5 games.
Is he on game 3 now, right?
Or 4, something like that. And I think that what's going to happen is they want him to agree to do things. I think they're going to change this stance a little bit, because you got once LeBron starts talking, It's like, all right, you know, they they gonna listen to LeBron, you know. So I think that's good that LeBron had his back. Whether or not I don't think anyone agrees with it in regards to like the movie and stuff like that. But but I do think that they understand that he did apologize, and you have to take that for what it is. It's an apology. He gave you what you asked for, whether you believe him or not. That's a thing, not necessarily him. It didn't seem like it was the apology was about him. It was about people that he offended. So I think that what's going to happen is the Nets should change their stance a little bit, and they can still require those things, but not necessarily require him to do those things in order to play. And you could give him a deadline, but I do believe that they should let him play after the 5 suspension, and as long as excuse me, as long as he agrees to do the things that they're requesting, which I think is that big of a deal. I think that meeting with a rabbi, getting education, and I mean help the young man. I mean, because uh, what's the point of just throwing him away, throwing him to the wolves, and not, because you may further his education to where he's like he's understanding why these people feel this way from what he did. You know what I'm saying? Because he may still not even understand really, and that's possible.
Yeah, and I can't pass judgment for whether he might be on steroids or whatnot. I think that he's messed up his long-term back because he is seeking a long-term contract. He is in a contract year.
Right now he has. Yeah.
This is not helping his cause.
Right now, I mean, and honestly, I heard it this morning, and I tend to agree that he's the reason he didn't get that job. I think that because you're already dealing with that, and now it's like you can't bring compound the Kyrie distraction with a Udoka distraction, and so you get it. I mean, you got Jacques Vaughn as the head. They took the interim tag off, which I wouldn't have done. I don't think he's that great of a coach, but
I agree, and you're right. Udoka did not get that job because of Kyrie.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, and I don't know if you can see it, but Phil says, what actually makes a good apology? Saying you're sorry for your actions or saying sorry for offending anyone? Me personally, I think both. Because your action is what offended people. So
I want to take it different. I think people want to feel like and it's a tough thing to judge because what may seem genuine to you may not be genuine to me. But I think that's what most people more bigger than big words, big actions is if people feel like their apology came from the heart and you truly meant what you were saying, I think people will accept. If people think that you're just feeding them lip service, or they feel like you're just up there because you have to, then they are going to question it, right? So you brought up a great point, right? If you're truly sorry, an organization wouldn't have to tell you what to do. Now, I'm not going to say that Kyrie Irving is not true, but if he came out with it and was like, hey, look, I understand. Even took a little lesson in line, like, hey, I didn't even see the movie. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know what the movie was about. I was just posting this because they had a cool picture or posting it. Anything to make people believe that he truly saw it
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't even gotten to. But what he did, which is definitely the wrong approach, was he was wrong in the situation, and then he doubled down,
Mm-hmm.
and he tried to stick his guns, and that got the best of him. And it's crazy enough is when keeping it real goes wrong. This is one situation where his stance, whether or not he believes it or not, is not going to be worth the outcome that whatever happens. Irregardless if a team picks him up, he's able to play. If Nike determines to go with him,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff is not going to be good for him.
Right.
Regardless if he's set for life, regardless if he doesn't need the money, regardless if he feels that he's selling his soul, the outcome of our situation is not going to be better.
Nah, I agree. I agree. Um, Pride.
Yeah, and look, right, it's good to have pride,
Mm-hmm.
and it's certain things to have pride about. When you have pride because somebody is wronging you,
Mm-hmm.
and you believe that you're in the right, then yeah, stand up for yourself, stand for your guns, you know, and be true to yourself.
Right.
But when you start getting to the point where you're offending people,
Mm-hmm.
and may not agree with why you're offending them, but you continue to offend them, then there's consequences to be paid for that. And you know, I look at it, it's almost role reversal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at it as African American. When somebody does something that he's done,
Mm-hmm.
we go after. Now, whether or not everything is held to the standard that he's being held to, that's a different debate. I don't think anybody would agree with that. But
Mm-hmm.
if somebody in his position was saying racist things about black people, we would want to hold him up. And we would be doing everything we could to hold him accountable
Mm-hmm.
with that. Now, like I said, a lot of times maybe it doesn't pan out the way that we want it to, but we can't knock another community for wanting to hold him accountable.
Absolutely.
And if he doesn't understand that as a black man, I don't get it. You know? So,
No, I definitely. No, I agree with everything that you just said. Because yeah, just look in the mirror, and I always say this, like if you do something or say something that offends someone, you're offended. At that point, everything else you're saying is null and void. You could try and convince me why not to be offended, but at this point, I'm offended, and you should, apologize for offending someone, and move on. But he wanted to, I can't be this if I'm this, and it's just.
well, the worst part about it is I feel like over the past couple of years, right, we've had a shift. And, I'll say this again. I felt that a lot of other races in America do not truly understand the hurt of the African Americans. Like, yeah, certain people that got it, but I think for the masses they didn't. I think a lot of work was put in to make people understand that hey, some of your actions aren't okay, and some of the things that you said aren't okay, and we're not going to tolerate the same.
All right, so I got something in here. Yeah, I guess it pulled off a little earlier. So, Adam Silver has no doubt that Kyrie Irving is not anti-Semitic, anti-Semitic after the two had what Silver called direct and candid conversation earlier this week in New York at League headquarters. And Adam Silver is Jewish, so I mean that's a step in the right direction because you got the commissioner of the league saying I don't believe this guy is what you are trying to perceive to be. And I honestly don't think there was any black people that thought he was anti-Semitic. I think black people were just saying some people were saying just apologize. Don't. Yeah, just apologize. Like you offended them. You already offended them, and you don't. And maybe it's I don't really understand where they're coming from. So I'm gonna do what I want to do, say what I got or how I feel, and not really care about the feelings of those people that felt offended. And that's it. So honestly, this could have been something simple. He already took the tweet down and just say, my bad. You know what I'm saying? And you would have playing and you might have still got your wish on Steve Nash. And would have got a way better coach in Udoka as your head coach. Now stuck with Jacques Vaughn, who probably don't like either. So, but man, definitely good conversation. Next week, man, Thanksgiving's almost here.
Yeah, it is.
But you got any plans? Oh, so you gonna be home?
No, normally we typically go to my wife's family's.
Okay. I just want to get home, watch football, and eat.
That's what I do. That's exactly what
I ain't about to start no controversy up here, but we're gonna get up out of here, and we're gonna we next week we're gonna talk a little bit more fantasy sports. Over here, quick question: are the Lakers done?
injury to LeBron.
But I don't think it's serious.
Nah, I'm not going to say done yet.
So I did read something about they're eyeing a specific player. They didn't say it, or eyeing a specific trade, but they didn't say what or who. And I have a feeling it has something to do with Charlotte. Gordon Hayward and the dude's name. They used to play for Boston.
Rozier.
Terry Rozier. I think if you ship Westbrook and somebody else, now you still gotta get a big man, but I think what they need more than anything right now are shooters. And we know Terry Rozier can shoot. We know Gordon Hayward can shoot.
Yeah, but I'm still not so. That's exactly what it is.
As far as what? Shooting? Dog. Man, at this point, anybody that can shoot is going to fit because they can't shoot. Like, you got guys, professional basketball players, turning and walking away, going to the basket, and leaving them wide open to shoot.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, we'll hopefully, I'm going to be done. It's ugly.
We're gonna see, but I'm close to saying, make a move while the season's over. Because I know people saying they 2-9 is looking bleak, but they make a move in the next week or so. You could definitely fix that. You could go on the winning 8 out of 10, and then winning 9 out of 12 or something like that, and your season is saved. But yeah. So I think they gotta make a move in order not to be done. One other thing, shout out to the Flint Hill Huskies football team, my high school that I was coaching. Shout out to the Virginia Royals. And shout out to me for finally being able to get some rest.
Yeah, I know.
Man, listen. I am going to enjoy the time that I have off because football is about to start right back up with off-season stuff. So, yeah, man. But yeah, shout out to Phil, Marcus, Jamal, Lean, as well as you and I. I had a good time. We had a good time at the tailgate, had a good time at the party, at the game. I know most places they got like little bands that be outside. It was something different about the band outside of the Superdome. That it was something different. I don't know. Maybe it was just first time being in New Orleans excitement or something. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I had a beignet for the first time. Shout out to me. With some orange juice. Hey man, let's get out of here. Oh my gosh, this is off the record. I'm Anthony Adebayo. We out of here. Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sports.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.